We're going to be talking about Beyond the Box and how fulfillment fuels global growth. Simon, what do you do? Tell me a bit more. Introduce yourself.
My name's Simon. I'm co-founder and director of a fulfillment business in the UK, Netherlands, and US. We started in 2010, just the two of us basically. Been on a mental journey, and now we've got warehousing all over the world. So, it's been quite exciting.
Brent?
Hi, I'm Brent. I'm the international distribution and warehouse manager for Tile.com, which is owned by Life360. Life360, if you might not know, it's basically a location sharing app. We've got 75 million active users per month. So
it's amazing. Brent, we're gonna keep on with you. Tell us a bit about Tile and your journey. How did the product evolve, and where is the business today in terms of scale and reach?
So we're in 230 countries around the world now. We're still stuck with not stuck, but we still have our four key SKUs, core SKUs, we're just developing along with technology of Bluetooth tracking.
Amazing. And Simon, so Brent obviously just mentioned the huge scale of countries operating in. It's very impressive. What's your strategy for helping brands handle rapid growth, international expansion, or big seasonal peaks?
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
It comes down to a couple of key things. One of the main things is we went out and built our own software stack. So our clients, like Tile, they tend to be involved in fast-paced growth, B2C, B2B. They tend to have quite complex requirements, even within their own different market sectors that they're supporting. So we have to be able to provide a solution for them that is kind of molded to them, whilst always making it very simple for us to operate on the shop floor, because the more complexity you add, the more risk for you going to make a mistake. And obviously the brand's reputation, it only really gets fulfilled when that product arrives with the customer. So we went out and built our own software system that we integrate with all the platforms that the customers use, and crucially means we have we can have one process in each of the warehouses that matches, and obviously our own people. The people are probably the most important part of this. Is we have a very, very strong core team, and then when we need to scale up, we're adding people to an already very experienced team. So we don't use like affiliates or partners. They're our warehouses and our employees.
Yeah, and I guess you've just touched on it really, but I'm sure a lot of people in the room kind of have experiences with traditional 3PLs. But how does Fidelity approach fulfillment differently from the traditional 3PL?
That's again quite a difficult question to answer, because I suspect every 3PL thinks they're a bit different. I suppose it comes down to kind of our experience. We deal with, or have historically and still do deal with, kind of the extremes of direct production supply into things like Ford, Toyota, Nissan, that sort of stuff. So we understand that daily requirement of getting the product to the production line, right through to we have startups with us that may only be doing a handful of orders a week, but we believe in the products and where they're going, and we really want to support them. So that's quite a wide variety. We've also had our own e-com business which we sold, so we've got kind of first-hand experience of what, although I have to say, listening to this today, it's a lot more complicated than it was when we were doing it. But we've got that experience as well. So and then our software division. So it's quite a unique mix of experience, and that's what we try and bring to it. And Liam mentioned earlier, you do what you're passionate about, and that's what we've been passionate about, and that's what we've just kept following.
I can imagine having the e-com business before has been super helpful as well. Brent, so what challenges did you face as you started scaling internationally, and how did those shape your fulfillment strategy?
Yeah, trying to decide where to have actual stock, in which locations, which countries, how we target it. And that's, like with Fidelity being in the UK and the Netherlands, it made it very easy for us to go into those markets. The other big one for us is compliance, going into new markets, making sure we're compliant. There's so many little stickers that we have to have on our product to make sure that we're we're campaigning with each law.
So sticking with the theme of challenges, Simon, what are the biggest challenges e-com brands bring to you, and how do you go about solving them?
There's every brand that has unique challenges generally, but the biggest ones tend to revolve around service. They're either through the fact that they're either doing it themselves or they're with another 3PL partner, and their fast growth has meant that they've outgrown the premises or the capabilities. The other challenges we see quite often as well is if you're doing one particular type of fulfillment, let's say it's high volume B2C, and then you start branching out into B2B, let's say, I don't know, maybe you pick up a contract to support John Lewis or something, the requirements are so different, and you can often find that presents a challenge if you're either with a 3PL or you just don't have that experience level to be able to handle that. And then there's lots of other challenges, certainly around IT and tech and integrations that can also pose challenges.
It's actually amazing, like how for like an industry that work online, especially me, I have no idea what I'm doing with certain tech. I love to tell people I work in tech, but put a spreadsheet in front of me, I have no idea what to do.
Fulfillment is tech now.
Yeah, it is. Brent, so you mentioned about your scaling journey a minute ago, but you've partnered with Fidelity to support that growth. And what were you looking for in a 3PL, and what made Fidelity the right fit?
Winning smile.
Yeah, we really wanted a partner that could. Our company was focused on North America for quite a while, and we've only really come into the UK, EU, Australia, and Asia sort of within the last 2 years. So we needed a company that could support our growth from the beginning of just having small amount of stock to then having our huge amount of stock like what we have in the US. And yeah, we saw that Fidelity could handle that volume. And then, yeah, the big point for us was really their tech. The visibility of our stock, orders, everything. It's just really easy for us to manage multiple sites and see where issues are at just a glance.
Definitely. So get a 3PL that can do both, basically. Simon, so throughout the whole day, I think a big theme has been retention, loyalty. What role does fulfillment play in that retention piece, customer experience, and long-term brand loyalty in your view?
I think it's absolutely massive because a lot of time, money, and energy is spent in gaining a client, retaining a client, and getting them to purchase on the website. But if that product arrives late, or doesn't arrive at all, or damaged, or something's missing, the chances of you retaining that customer are pretty slim. And they're not going to take the excuse of, oh well, it was our fulfillment partner that let us down there. So our role is absolutely crucial, and we see it as it's very much a partnership, because we see ourselves sort of, if you're working in a little office and you've got your own little unit, you're able to think creatively about what you would do to attract a customer, retain a customer, or put another product or offering together for a customer, and you don't need to think about how you're going to do it, because you'll just assume you'll figure that out afterwards. When you move to a 3PL, we don't want you to then start thinking, well, I might creatively, I'd want to do this, but I've got to think about, am I going to be able to get the 3PL to do it? I'll be able to have them on board. So that piece for us is also really important, that we give the brand owners the freedom, and also kind of encourage them to think of new and interesting ways to do it, and we'll leave us with the problem of how do we physically do it.
I guess you almost become part of the brand.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, very much so. We just try and we know our pieces. We need to accurately receive, store, and ship out product, which sounds simple when you say it, but there are so many elements to it that you really want to make sure that when that customer gets something, if you want to put a ribbon on it with your name or something, you really need to. We need to support the client with that. It's very important.
Definitely. And Brent, for brands looking to expand into new markets in this realm, what advice would you give them around fulfillment, especially when it comes to maintaining customer experience across borders?
Yeah, checkout's a big one. Making sure that you're capturing all a customer's cost at checkout, and they're not seeing any customs issues. They get a letter in the mail from Royal Mail or something like that. That but that's about me.
Great. And then, so for anyone looking at 3PLs in the room, what should brands look for when evaluating a potential 3PL partner beyond just cost and warehouse space? Well, both of you. You can both take.
Yeah, I can do a little bit. Yeah. It's really contract's a big one for me. Making sure that in the contract, you go to some 3PLs and you get this massive contract back that you have to sign, and you just, it's too much. So that really is a dead giveaway. Something, it's got to be a partnership, not something that's one-sided.
Yeah, I think the partnership word is bandied around quite a lot, but genuinely for it to work, it does need to be a partnership, because the fulfillment center is working as an extension of your business. So that's absolutely critical. If I was an e-com brand and I was looking, I'd be looking for the right cultural fit. That'd probably be number one on my list. And then things like, have they got the scalability? Have they got the capability? But that cultural fit's quite important from a partnership point of view. And am I going to be able to grow with this business? And are they invested in me to solve the problems that I have? That would be key.
Yeah, definitely. I think like with agencies, fulfillment, that partner buzzword, I would say, is super important. So Brett, we've just gone over like what you should look for. What are common pitfalls brands should avoid when selecting or working with a fulfillment partner?
Some of the big guys, you often go with a bigger company for security. Okay, they've been around for the last like 30, 50 years. If you go into that, you're often just a number within their system. So I just sort of stick clear. Like that, we do use big fulfillment companies and things like that, but really assess how much volume you're doing out and make sure you're with the right partner on that.
Listen, you got anything you should avoid? Put you on the spot there, didn't I?
If your e-com from a physical point of view is really regimented and nothing changes, and it's the same product going to the same place all the time, then you're going to those larger businesses that are a bit more menu driven in terms of, hey, these are our services. If you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. Probably isn't the end of the world, and you are likely to get probably the best price going in that direction, to be honest, because they tend to have employed some form of automation which has limited their potential process flow that they can work through in the warehouse. But I keep coming back to that cultural thing. Where do you want to be in 3, 4, 5 years time, and do you think can you work with that business? Is that the business that you can see yourself working with in that time? And if that's the answer, most of the problems can normally be resolved.
Yeah, there's more than just shipping boxes, isn't it? And finally, Simon, I'll finish with you. Looking ahead, how is the fulfillment industry evolving, and what are you most excited for when it comes to the future of your partnership with Tile?
I think the industry is evolving rapidly, actually. Just as from the way that e-com brands are engaging with customers, as a fulfillment center, we can't be blind to that. So the offer, just as your website offering is changing to a bit like the bricks and mortar stores changed. They realized they need to be more destination driven rather than just, okay, here, come and buy this product. The same thing's happening online in different ways. Difficult to predict actually how it's going to change in the future. The key thing for us is, I think, the physical thing we do has to change along with it. So if in order to sell more, you need to do more customization, or there's who knows what services might be required in the future, we have to be able to adapt to provide those physical services, and that's where the tech is for us is very, very important, that we own and build our own ability to service that that new market.
You've got to evolve in these days.
The piece with Tile, I think, is Tile are pushing us, as all customers do, but they're pushing us for more out of what they're really open with what they want to see, and that's what really interests me. Because if you've got customers that aren't really pushing you and aren't really asking you for more things, then are you doing a good job? Who knows? So that's actually really exciting for me.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much. And Fidelity actually have a stand upstairs, so please go and visit them afterwards. But thank you.